Hello everybody, welcome back to another great video with Ike from Ike and Me Gaming, and today we are going to talk all about warehouses. So if you're still wondering what to do or still have questions, stick with us and hopefully we'll be able to answer those. We're going to break these down into 9 easy steps with a bonus step or idea at the end. Number 1. The first thing you got to understand is warehouses are not standalone buildings. They were in the first game, they're not in Railway Empire 2. They're add-ons to existing stations. See how I have a station here in Lennox Terminal? I can click on that, I can go over here into these two. Now I've already built a maintenance depot and I've already built a warehouse. But that's where you build it. If I go to London, and I want to throw a warehouse on, I could, you would go right here. Okay. And number 2, the warehouse has to be researched for you to be able to get to it. So let's go to the research here. It's right at the beginning though. So if you're at the very beginning and you're wondering why you don't have warehouses available to you, it's right here. Number 2, and it's 100 research points. So that's something you want to research pretty quickly in the game if you want to build warehouses. So until you... Number 3, only... Now you can do more than this, but I'm just suggesting you only put warehouses in rural stations. Right now, Lennox Terminal originally could get this wool and could get this milk. Alright, so that's a great station. You can get 2 things at once. So I decided, because it was so close to London and not that far away from Dover and even eventually Bristol up here, it was a great spot to put a warehouse there. So that's why I picked it. Now I could have put one, and may still, but we'll see. I could put one here in London. That's my people station up here. I could put one here. Oops. I could go right in here, put a warehouse right there. Could do that. It's possible. So either one of those are possible. What would make no sense though, is to put one down here in Dover. See how Dover is like really... It doesn't have a natural connection to anything unless I put one up to Cambridge. It doesn't really have a good connection right there, so there's no point in putting one there. Number 4, a warehouse can connect up to 6 items. See how there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 right there. You can connect up to 6 items, and this covers everything. The whole list of items is all in here, and production items, at least whatever's available in your scenario or campaign or free play. So right now I have 3 selected, but I could select up to 3 more as long as they're feeding in and there is demand. So this station has an extra bonus that it has a connection to wool and a connection to milk. So technically that would make the 6, 8. Number 5. Must-have trains supplying the warehouse station with the goods chosen above from your prospective rural businesses. And do that preferably 8 cars at a time. Okay, so what does that mean? Is here in Jones Rest, we have a station picking up the sugar. The sugar is bringing in a full load, this train, of sugar. In this case, looks like it's all going for Dover eventually, but either way, it's coming into the station. So you want to always have business or train, bringing in your freight from somewhere else into Lennox Terminal. Now you notice Lennox Terminal right now has 5 corn. It's going to Dover and London. Has sugar for London, but this other sugar doesn't say, but we already clicked on the train. It's going to Dover. And then this lumber is going to Dover and London. So that's sitting kind of in the warehouse at the moment with a place to go, just waiting for the train to pick it up. Number 6, warehouses don't stock goods like a real warehouse in life would do. Okay, just remember that. It's not, like I couldn't like set this up to have 100 of each thing. There's no like set number that it's going to just fill up 100 corn and then the cities will eventually drain that down. No, it doesn't set up like that. It's more like a middleman. They're just holding these goods for transfer to, in this case, London or Dover, say in the case of the corn. And they're just sitting there until a train comes from London or Dover to pick them up to deliver them into those two cities. So the warehouse, you have to remember that it's a middleman. So you need demand further on down the line. If I just had this Linux terminal warehouse set up and London wasn't demanding these three things and Dover wasn't demanding them, then these three numbers would be zero. There'd be no reason for anything to be there because the cities don't need them. Like, take this wool for instance. If I brought this wool in and put it in here as like the number 4 slot, let's say it wasn't there, London wouldn't, it would still stay at zero forever because London doesn't need wool and neither does Dover. So that would create just a slot for nothing. Number 7, the warehouse doesn't pass goods along until the city's demand is met. So what does this mean? Let's say I put a warehouse here in London. Let's say I put one there because I want to eventually pass goods up to Cambridge from Linux terminal. Okay, well that's a reasonable thing to do. But here's the thing. They won't pass from London to Cambridge unless London's needs of those specific goods are being met. So if London needs 8 cars of corn, then and I only have 8 there, Cambridge is never going to see anything. If London has 10, then Cambridge could see up to 2. Whatever. So you need your supply to always be greater than your demand, at least by a little bit. So then the number 8 is you want to run lines from the warehouse itself, which in this case Linux terminal. See how it's got a line in here to London? Right there's a train, and then in the Dover there's a train down there. Now eventually I probably should put 2 trains on each line just to make sure they're getting their goods. But you have to have a line from the warehouse into the city. That seems basic, but it's just something to look at in case it ain't working for you. Make sure you got these lines in, otherwise freight doesn't necessarily just go on its own. And then number 9, multiple warehouses located in a city can automatically transfer goods without trains. So if I put a warehouse here at my express station, and if I put a warehouse here at what I call my freight station, they could transfer goods between them automatically. So if I randomly had a freight train up here on the express station going to Birmingham, let's say, it would bring goods from this train to this train if Birmingham had a demand for them. And I had 2 warehouses here. So you don't necessarily, your warehouses don't have to be connected on the exact train line if there's 2 warehouses within the city. Hopefully that. And here's a bonus tip for you at the end. You could, if you don't need, I have a maintenance station in here right now, but let's say if I didn't have one in here, if I didn't need the maintenance station, you could go here and put in a dispatch hall, which will shorten the wait of all trains at the station by 20%. So let's say that's where your warehouse is, over here at Lennox. If I instead had all my warehouses here, 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 and then in the cities, I could put a dispatch hall instead of a maintenance center, and that would get my trains coming and going 20% faster. So that's our 9 tips and a bonus tip for the day of how to build good, effective, useful warehouses that are going to help grow your city, help make you money, help set up your railway empire. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and come back and watch another one of our great videos here on Alchemy Gaming.